Alright, so we're back down in my basement today, and looking at the floor, well, there's a reason for that. That's why. I finally got my door up after forever and a day. This is my 4x36 Midland door with the Chamberlain D2101 installed on it. So, this is what it looks like from the outside. I'll kind of show you some detail on it. So, I'll start off here kind of with how I built the opening. So overall it's 5 feet tall and 6 feet long. I've got, basically the way I've got it framed out, I have 2x6s going all the way up to the top. This is my spring pad. This is where the header bracket goes, and then there's another 2x6 over there for that side. This is basically the header plate. Runs across here. You can see I've got a couple basically studs there to stabilize it, because what I did on the outside, I'll show you. These pieces here go all the way up to the top, and then this basically just, this up here just basically crosses over them. So, and then I added on this here to keep it from falling in on itself. This is 5 feet long, and I had to put this brace here as well because it just helps stabilize it a lot more. I am probably going to be adding on another one on that side, and you'll see why in a little bit. And then I've just finished off the outside with some plywood, makes it look a little bit nicer. So, yep. You can see I did get some perimeter seal on the outside. Sorry, the lighting kind of sucks out here. I did get perimeter seal to match. It actually almost perfectly matches the color. I was about a foot short, so it is missing a little bit on the sides, but that's okay. So, and I'll get to the door here. So, like I said, it's a 4x36 Midland. The sections I got from work, they were from the old showroom before it got remodeled, and it was originally 4x7, and there's not really a way to get a 4x7, or not really anyone that would have a 4x7 opening. So this is the number 1 section. This is actually number 3, and the reason I picked this, and back outside I go, is because it gives it a more complete look on the outside. So you can see kind of how we have this part. It's kind of a shadow here, but you can see how there's this part that goes all the way around the door. If I picked the number 2, it wouldn't have had this. It just would have kind of looked incomplete. It just would have been this all the way up. And the top section had glass in it, and yeah, I can't really exactly make that work. Well, I could, but then I'd have to like mount the opener onto the strut and stuff, which I didn't necessarily want to do. So this does have overlay on it. That means it's a little bit thicker, which you can see I did forget to account for that. I had to shim out the tracks and stuff. This thing's heavier than it looks. I'm going to say that. It is heavier than it looks. I lifted it without the springs just to make sure that it would work okay, which, yeah, it's definitely not light. I'll tell you that. I'm not sure exactly how much it weighs. I'm going to have to check that sometime. You can see I've got bottom fixtures here. Most of this hardware, this hardware came back from some job, along with this door bracket here. This strut was cut down. This is overkill for the reinforcement. The door was never going to fold in half to begin with, and now it's never going to fold in half even more, pretty much. The top fixtures are not as tight as I thought they would be, which is good. I even got a lock here, which I had to drill it out. You can see I had to drill that out. That wasn't too much fun. Handle here, step plate down there. Alright, so the tracks, the verticals were cut down. They both came from the same piece of track. It was originally for a 6.6 door, but there's only one of them, and it was pretty beat up. You can see where I had to kind of bend it back into shape there. The horizontals, though, were not cut down. No, they're not back hung, but it's fine. Now, I got lucky on these. They are actually the perfect length for my door. And I believe they were originally supposed to be for a high lift door, and they just got cut the wrong length. It definitely helps to have this angle all the way back. It definitely helps to stabilize it. It does definitely move, but the door's not going to come off the tracks. It'll be fine. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, the jam bracket over on this side is the weirdest one I've ever seen. I'm not sure if you can really see it. That is a 6.5. I've never seen that before. Now, I did get a spring for it. So, let me sneak back under here. The spring is a 262 by 34. It's got 3.5 turns on it, and this thing actually balances really well, much better than I was expecting. These are custom cables. They were cut down. They're 5 feet long, and they're just slightly thinner, which is fine because, you know, this is a pretty small door. I did this the hard way when I tightened this cable down. I forgot that you don't have to pull this one tight until you get this turned, because you haven't vice gripped the shaft yet. So I was trying to tighten these set screws as they were back here. Yeah, that was... You can see that is fairly tight, but it clears enough. And then that side, there's plenty of room. So yeah, I went with the longer spring because the longer springs are weaker. And like I said, the 3.5 turns actually balanced it about perfectly. I did get a little bit creative with the bearing plates. You can see... this is the hole that the horizontal track is attached to. You can see that's also holding in the end bearing plate, and then I have another bolt here. That prevented me from having to shim out the spring pad. It also allowed me to lag the bearing plates to the wall, which helps a lot with stabilizing the track, because otherwise this would probably kind of bend around some, but this really helps to stabilize it. The opener, this is the D20101. Show you here. There you go. This is one of the ones that Chamberlain just recently came out with. I am using the square rail. I made a short rail. I used 3 of the 5 sections. It actually does not really have all that much flex to it, believe it or not. I cut the chain. This is a full chain, thankfully. Probably would not have gone quite as well if I did half chain, half cable. You can see the chain tension is kind of close to being maxed out, but it's fine. You can see the back hangs. I've got them going all the way up, and then I use some of this cheap stuff as the kicker. It's actually pretty solid. It doesn't move all that much. The opener is slanted down. I'll show you here. You can see it is slanted down. That's because I had to get the header bracket higher up there so that it would clear the spring, and I didn't want it that high above the door. So, yeah. And then this is the arm that came with it, and the this rope is a leftover one that I had. These sensors, I did not use the sensors that came with the opener just because I didn't really want to use those. This set I actually got from Vemco Machines. You can see, first of all, the world's crappiest wiring job. But second, the wires on these were messed up. I just cut them off and ran all new wires. I spent a little while finagling with them because plugged it in, sensors weren't working. But I just figured it probably wasn't worth it, so I just ran new wires and it works just fine now. Have the wall button right there, and the keypad outside is an 877 LM. And there's that remote, and this remote runs this button does the 8557, that does the 8557's lights, and then this one runs that Chamberlain. Now the reason I went with this opener is because of the electronic limits. I did not necessarily feel like messing around with mechanical ones and setting those. The electronic limits are actually a lot easier to set. I do have just a little bit off the ground, which is not a huge deal. The other openers that I can and will probably eventually put on the door, the 7220 I can do, the Sears Best, the silver metal I can do, the old Sears V-belt over there, I don't know if I'm going to do that one because the limits on those are a pain in the butt to adjust. The Rainer I need to get a rail for, or at least modify a rail. The Craftsman belt drive and the 8557 I need to get a rail for. The Genie I need a rail. I'm not sure if using just this section and then the front section is going to be long enough. Might have to modify something for that. The Pro Max needs a rail. I think they might have had a sectional rail version of this, but I'm not sure. And then the linear, I can't. They never had. Actually, no. Actually, take that back. They did have sectional rails. Grozro Geek showed one a while ago. His brand was like Mighty Mule or something like that. Anyway, see how this door's balanced. Actually, it's balanced pretty well. So I'll lift it up halfway. See, it stays right there. It is a little bit hard to push down when it gets to this point. It doesn't really fly up on its own, but it is a little bit difficult to push down. And I don't exactly, it doesn't stay fully open. It likes to rest about right there when it's open, which is actually, I'm very impressed at how that turned out. So, I guess I'll show you the lock here too. It does work. Yeah. Alright, so I'll hook up the opener and give this thing a run now. Let me stand back over here. Alright, here we go. So it works. It does vibrate a little bit, but it's not horribly loud. See, nice blue case. I like that. Yeah, I'll run it down. The whole freaking wall shakes when it runs, which is the entire wall shakes when I run it. That's the reason that I'm probably gonna put something else over there to help stabilize that. Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, I'm pretty impressed with how this turned out. Show you, run from the outside here. The keypad. I guess I can show you the code. It's the basement. It's not holding anything up. Springs make a little bit of noise, but it's not horrible. It's not all the way above the header either, but that's okay. There is actually a little bit of slack on this side, so I don't want to bring it up any higher. You can see that there is plenty of space there for the rail. Here's the remote. The trolley does rattle on this a little bit, but like I said, it's not horrible. So yeah, I'm just very impressed with how this turned out. Yeah, I don't know really what much else there is to say. I guess we could run it one more time from right here. Alright. See, top view here. Yeah, this is just pretty darn cool. I can even get you a header view from right here. Yeah, I didn't bend this up either. I just didn't necessarily feel like it. And I'm very glad this is a full chain because I did not know how well this would work if it was half chain, half cable. Yeah. Alright, so that's honestly about it. I will definitely get more videos on this door, but that's gonna be about it for now. So thanks for watching, and let me know what you think of that.